one of the things I pondered that I still don't feel like I have great answers to is this question around motivation. And I feel like sort of the ideal that's put out there is that for Christians, they're purely motivated by their relationship with God. And that is what, that's the driver for everything they do. And the Bible says, love God with all your heart, soul, and mind. Now, that's another thing I have questions about is what does that mean? But it seems like for most of us, we are intensely, I say intensely, we are driven by, in a large degree, we're driven around identity questions and actually, I guess identity questions or identity actualization, if you will, right? So now there's different levels of what motivates us, and things like survival and things like that, and connection. All those things are important, right? But on a very personal level, I think that most of us are very motivated by identity, and I think it's possible to be motivated by an identity that is very much tied into a relationship with God. But then the question is still like, well, is it God motivating me at that point, or is it me, striving towards this identity or working out of this identity that I have that is actually motivating me? And still, in other words, it feels like there's some degree to which it always feels like it's kind of selfish, if you will. Like, there's something that I want to get out of it for myself that motivates me to do something. Like I want an identity that is X. Like, maybe it's, if you're, that thing we talked about, the 7 primal questions. If my question is, am I successful? And then I'm always, I say always, my default is kind of look for opportunities to either show that I'm successful or to work towards being successful. Because for me, that's an important identity question of, am I successful? And so I'm trying to work towards that, right? Or it could be a question of like, am I loved? Or am I safe? Am I secure? And all those different things that you could say, well, those are not important. That's just about you. Like, you're supposed to be serving God, not worrying about these things, these self-identity questions, and striving to find, to show the answer, to find the answer, to become this better version of yourself. Isn't that a selfish pursuit? So I don't know I guess I don't know to what extent that tension is from the fall and the fact that we have this inclination to try to be something on our own apart from God, and how much of it is something that God actually built into us, and that our relationship with Him is intended to satisfy, and it's intended to be an ongoing discovery of like who we are, creating that identity, and living out of that. So if it sounds like a messy jumble in my mind, or if this video sounds like a messy jumble of thoughts, it's probably because it's a bit of a messy jumble in my mind. But maybe you have some insight for me. If you do, put it in the comments.